Hey y'all, today I'm going to be working on a new design utilizing this vintage silver plated pitcher back here. I'm really excited, and a wide variety of blooms that are just screaming summer right now. As always, make sure you hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so you know when my latest videos are up, and make sure you drop me a comment below. Do you have sunflowers blooming in your area? They are really starting to come and bloom in mine, and I am so excited. Okay, so here's the pitcher. It is a silver plated pitcher. It definitely has some coloring and tarnish going on it, which I absolutely love. And I love the idea of the contrast of this kind of formal type of pitcher and then utilizing something casual like these sunflowers. So sunflowers are doing really well right now. I have multiple plantings going. I'm actually about to start a whole nother round of seeds this week. And these are absolutely beautiful. These are from the Autumn Beauty series. And then I have some other blooms. I have some little lime hydrangeas. These are parsley. This is parsley that's gone to seed. I have some white polar bear zinnias, a few yellow calla lilies, a little bit of kind of variegated coleus. These are actually full-size limelight hydrangeas that haven't bloomed yet, but I love like the dark texture of them. I think that's really pretty. I have some coneflowers that have had the petals removed, so we just have the interesting centers, which is fun. And even have some of the calla lily leaves back here, which are one of my favorite things to use. I did choose some lemon balm right here, but you can see as I let it soak overnight, it did not hold up. I always let my flowers soak overnight so that I can see what works and what doesn't. Oh, I was able to finally harvest a stem of this bloom. This is new to me this year, called Winged Everlasting. And it's almost like a miniature straw flower. Very, very pretty. Let me show you guys the stem. It almost looks like a status stem, like the stem of the status flower. Very pretty, a spray of sweet, tiny little blooms. Love it. This is all starting to come and bloom in my garden right now. All right, so let's get started on this. I'm going to be building in my hand today and then tying it off and putting the whole design into the pitcher. Let's go. Okay, I'm going to start by laying out the different blooms that I have. This one right here is the limelight hydrangea. Lay out some of the coleus. When I'm making a hand-tied bouquet, I really like to have the flowers kind of spread out so they're easier to pick up. I also like to remove them of any leaves so that I don't have to do that while I have my hands full. I only have a few stems of that Winged Everlasting, but I'm really excited to use it. I am going to leave the sunflowers in place in their vase because they get really kind of tangled when I'm working with them. Like if you lay them out on a table or something, they can get really tangled if you have multiple of them. So I'll leave that out and aside. All of this laid out. I'm talking during today's video because a lot of people commented in my last video that they really like listening to me talk about what I'm thinking for the flowers when I'm working with them. Okay, I'm going to start with some more prominent branches, such as a hydrangea. This is the little lime hydrangea, Bread Proven Winners. And then I'm going to work in with some more prominent leaves and blooms, just to kind of give me like, let me throw this one away, hold up. Just to kind of give me some really good structure to start off with. You can see like this coneflower stem is really strong, which is great because it kind of gives me a little bit of control in here. So I'm going to start working with that, putting a few things together at a time. I'm wanting this arrangement to be fairly loose. I don't need it to be overly tight or structured. And I'm just working, I'm right-handed, so I'm working in my left hand and I use my right hand to pick up the blooms and put them in. Typically when I'm inserting, I point the stem away from my body, put it in at a 45-degree angle, and then I rotate the bouquet, and always putting the stem in at a 45-degree angle. And then this at the end will give you a really nice like swirl effect on your design. I think this design is going to come together pretty quickly. One thing that's nice is you can see I'm working with kind of a monochromatic setup, meaning all the colors are in the main, kind of in the same color range, greens, whites, yellows. The hydrangeas, the sunflowers will be a pop color. Okay, this is coming together super fast. Remember to continue rotating the bouquet so you can find holes. You can see I have like a kind of a random hole right there, but I put the leaf in there and fill that in, a calla lily leaf. Kind of like the look of coleus. I utilize coleus a lot in my floral designs, and right now my coleus is going bonkers. I actually need to prune it pretty bad, but that's also exciting because I can use it in a lot of arrangements. Okay, let me work in. I'm going to put the winged everlasting in last because it's a small, tiny, delicate flower, and I don't want to lose it in the design. I'm also going to put a concentration of calla lilies over to one area instead of spreading them out. The reason I'm doing that is I don't have a ton of the calla lilies, and so in order to make a statement with them, you put them all in one place, and then that shows off the calla lilies as all one kind of bold color statement. If I spread them out, they can kind of get lost and maybe not really show up very well. All right, let's get some of these zinnias in here. Continue to rotate your bouquet. You can always go in and bring things out. Bring these little hydrangeas out, little lime hydrangeas out a little bit more so we can see them a little better. Hey, this would be a really pretty bridal bouquet. Okay. If you didn't see my latest video on how to make a classic bridal bouquet, it's pretty fun, it's different. I've had some requests for it just because I think some flower gardeners like to create designs like that for friends or family members. Okay, great start, looking pretty, still waiting on the winged everlasting. But I am going to go in with some of the sunflowers. Now, the sunflowers have already been cleaned off, super pretty. This is going to change the whole direction of the design. You can see it here. As soon as you start adding this, it has a completely different effect. So let me start working some of these in. Now, if you don't want your sunflowers to flop, you need to give them a place to lay. So I'm tucking this guy in, and he's got support of the blooms underneath them. If you have the bloom further out of the design like this, it's going to turn, which is fine too. Like, don't get me wrong, totally fine to do that too. Just different options from when you're working with them. This is super pretty. Very summery. Almost a touch of fall with the deeper tones of the sunflowers. I want to work in a lot of these sunflowers. Definitely want them to be prominent. Keep turning the design. Making sure I keep things loose because that is the goal of this design. I'm not wanting for it to be a super tight, structured design. I want it to be soft, garden style, organic. Oh yeah, this is so pretty. I can still come back in, pull some things up and out, make them more prominent. I have a lot of sunflowers at the base. I kind of want them to flop over the edge of the picture a little bit. Got this teeny tiny one tucked down in there. So I definitely want some looseness with the sunflowers so that they can drape a little bit. Just continuing to loosen things up. Okay, with my winged everlasting, since it's a small flower and I don't have much of it, I don't want to tuck it in very far. I want to allow it to extend out of the design, and that will also allow it to showcase a little bit better. This is going to be super pretty. Like I said, I'm really playing with the juxtaposition of this formal silver pitcher and the casualness of zinnias and sunflowers, but then, you know, hydrangeas and calla lilies are more formal flowers. So it's really kind of a fun, interesting mix of blooms. Remember to turn your bouquet several times so you can see what it looks like from all angles. Some of my calla lilies have gotten a little close together. Okay, let me grab my floral tape. Okay, I'm not really sure where my floral tape went, so I just grabbed a ball of twine. The floral tape I get off of Amazon. The twine is from the dollar store. And basically I'm going to start with just a long line of twine like that, kind of hanging off. Hold it with my left hand. And then I'm going to take this and wrap around a couple of times. I'm not trying to pull really hard. We're not trying to break the stems or choke the stems. We're just trying to hold them securely in place. And I have to use my teeth to undo this knot. All right, so it's loosely held together. If you don't want your design to shift, you can definitely tie it tighter. There we go. All right, so we like the looseness of the design because it's going to allow it to kind of spread out in here, but it's not so loose that it's just going to fall apart. So I'm going to do a quick trim on everything. You can kind of just hold your bouquet up and kind of gauge where you need to cut your stems. Take off a little bit at a time. Remember, you can always take off more, but you can't put any back. I want this design to kind of lounge on the edge of the picture. All right, I'm gonna sit down on a chair so I can see this better as I turn it, and I can look and adjust flowers as needed to make sure they're laying beautifully over the edge. I don't love to see the edge of the container typically. I don't know why. I don't know if that's just like a design thing in my head. I'm not sure. So you'll typically see me draw down different elements to kind of bring it over the edge so you can't really see it. I love it, and I think it looks great. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video with this design and me actually talking through the design. It's a hand-tied bouquet that I designed in my hands and then wrapped it off and then placed it into the pitcher. I use a wide variety of blooms, including the centers of coneflowers, sunflowers, limelight hydrangeas, coleus, even my parsley, which is going to seed, and one of my newest blooms, which is called Winged Everlasting. As always, she's a mad gardener or decorator or anything else that she wants to be. Thanks, y'all.